Top 10 Medieval Discoveries. Many people think of the Middle Ages as a time of ignorance and superstition, often calling it the Dark Ages. But that image isn't fair. The medieval period was actually full of creativity, progress, and discoveries that shaped the world we live in today. From technology that changed warfare to knowledge that fueled the Renaissance, the Middle Ages were anything but stagnant. In this video, we'll explore the top 10 medieval discoveries and inventions that truly changed history. The stirrup. Let's start with something small that had a huge impact: the stirrup. Introduced into Europe around the 8th or 9th century, this simple loop of metal or leather gave riders stability in the saddle. For the first time, knights could deliver powerful charges while staying firmly on horseback. The stirrup helped shape feudal society itself, because heavily armed cavalry became the backbone of medieval armies. In short, without the stirrup, the iconic image of the medieval knight might never have existed. Eyeglasses. By the late 13th century, another life-changing invention appeared in Italy: eyeglasses. At first, they were clumsy and expensive, but their impact was revolutionary. Monks, scribes, and scholars could now read and write much longer, preserving texts and ideas for future generations. Eyeglasses not only improved the lives of individuals, they extended the productive years of entire communities of intellectuals. Something as simple as two pieces of glass changed the course of knowledge forever. Watermills and windmills. Medieval Europe also saw a boom in mechanical power. Watermills and windmills, which spread widely between the 12th and 13th centuries, turned rivers and wind into energy. They ground grain into flour, pressed olives into oil, and even powered fulling mills for cloth. These machines meant that one miller could do the work of dozens of people, freeing up labor for other tasks. In many ways, this was Europe's first industrial revolution, centuries before steam engines. Universities. Education also took on a whole new form. From the late 11th and early 12th centuries, cities like Bologna, Paris, and Oxford founded the first universities. These weren't just schools, they were organized communities of teachers and students with charters, degrees, and curricula. Universities became places where theology, law, medicine, and philosophy were debated at a high level. Their influence continues today because our modern university system grew directly out of these medieval institutions. Gothic architecture. Meanwhile, in the world of art and engineering, Gothic architecture was transforming skylines. Beginning in the 12th century, architects developed pointed arches, ribbed vaults, and flying buttresses, which allowed cathedrals to rise higher than ever before. Inside, colorful stained glass filled these vast spaces with light, creating an atmosphere of wonder. Cathedrals like Notre Dame in Paris weren't just places of worship, they were masterpieces of engineering that pushed the limits of medieval technology. Paper. Knowledge also spread in a new way thanks to paper. Originally invented in China, paper reached Europe through the Islamic world around the 11th and 12th centuries. Unlike parchment, which was made from animal skins and was very costly, paper was cheaper and easier to produce. Suddenly, books and documents became more affordable. By the late Middle Ages, entire libraries could be filled with manuscripts, setting the stage for the printing press in the 15th century. Gunpowder weapons. Of course, not all discoveries were peaceful. Gunpowder, brought from China to Europe, revolutionized warfare in the 14th century. First used in cannons and later in handheld firearms, it shattered the power of the castle walls and made the armored knight less dominant on the battlefield. Gunpowder weapons marked the beginning of a new era in military history, one that would eventually lead to the modern age of warfare. The magnetic compass. Exploration took a huge leap forward with the adoption of the magnetic compass in the 12th century. Before that, sailors relied on stars or landmarks, which wasn't always reliable. The compass allowed navigation even in cloudy weather or on the open sea, where no landmarks were visible. This little tool gave Europeans the confidence to sail farther and longer. Without it, the great voyages of discovery that reshaped the world would have been impossible. Mechanical clock. Another incredible invention of the Middle Ages was the mechanical clock. First built in European towns during the 13th century, these clocks regulated daily life with unheard-of precision. No longer did people rely only on church bells or the sun's position. Time could now be measured, divided, and controlled. Clocks transformed how people worked, prayed, and even thought about life. In many ways, the clock was the heartbeat of medieval towns. Scholasticism and knowledge preservation. And finally, the most important discovery wasn't a single object, but a movement: scholasticism and the preservation of knowledge. During the 12th and 13th centuries, European scholars translated works of philosophy, medicine, and science from Arabic and Greek into Latin. Thinkers like Thomas Aquinas blended reason with faith, setting the intellectual groundwork for modern science and philosophy. The Middle Ages didn't bury knowledge. They saved it, built on it, and passed it on to the Renaissance and beyond. Conclusion. So, as we've seen, the Middle Ages were not a time of ignorance, but of innovation. From stirrups and spectacles to compasses and cathedrals, medieval discoveries shaped the modern world. Which of these surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more amazing history videos.